Grey Matter is an experimental dance short film which explores the complicated and messy emotions and feelings that come when you're struggling with mental health. It was born out of me hearing a very specific song created by Factor 8, this extremely talented Canadian musician. He makes music entirely from his own voice, manipulating it and also doing a similar thing of trying to document his feelings and struggles with his own mental health. I heard the song and I had all these images in my mind that I just felt like I needed to make something with it. So after concepting something out, I got in contact with Factor 8 over just an Instagram DM, and I basically told him exactly what the project was, and he seemed really on board. This is like a worldwide collaboration from people on opposite sides of the world. So after a conversation with my awesome DP, Liam, he was pretty keen to work on something like this.
We caught up and basically touched base on this dance concept that he showed that was kind of otherworldly. A lot of the scenes were very moody, and I am a sucker for mood, so...
We decided we were going to make it happen, and then Liam clued me onto this awesome competition that was being run by Nanlite Nanlux, Project Spark, which was really interested in providing funding and support for artists all over the world to create some awesome pieces of work and using Nanlite Nanlux products to do it. In order to find our dancers, we had to do a call out online. We brought in lots of different dancers from all over Auckland and actually some from Wellington as well, so we flew them up for the project. And I also brought on Holly Finch, who was a really awesome dance rehearsal director, to help me with the audition process and also through the dance rehearsals before we got on set and filmed the thing. Awesome, nice work. When we were selecting the dancers, the cast for this piece, it was really crucial for me to have people that could embody an emotion and a feeling rather than just get a technical dance element correct. And that was really something that Levi had in spades. He has so much depth behind his eyes, and even without doing anything, there's a quality within him that you just want to lean in and try and understand and figure out. And hands. We had about 3-4 days of straight rehearsing and figuring out the choreography that I was exploring with them. And then we went straight into shooting on location in the studio.
So from a lighting perspective and tone perspective, black and white was one of the biggest things that I had to figure out how to shoot. Like, you actually have to light it a different way. White balance impacts it, I learned. I had higher contrast in camera, which would impact the look. The highlight roll-off also was altered in camera. I wanted it to be harder on the edges so we could read the shadows better.
Do you want us to just travel the hands up?
From a technical standpoint, I wanted a crew that really knew what they were doing. My gaffer, Henry, was the perfect person to bring on this job because he really understands the technical side with using an iPad to control all the lights in the ceiling.
And lights going up. The ceiling was about 5 meters up, which I would normally rig lights with scissor lifts, but this time, being a theater, not an actual studio, I was given a portable scaffold tower. Because the Dyno 1200Cs were a lot smaller and lighter, it was actually not as challenging as I thought to be rigging them into the ceiling.
So essentially the narrative of the piece, it begins in this very harsh analytical world where we feel as if everyone's conforming, and then the main character, he pulls himself out of this world and then is swarmed by this mass of people. And I really wanted to have in that first smoke section this feeling of being watched, being observed, being manipulated and twisted, the anxiety that is induced when being very conscious of the outside world and how you're perceived. And then it switches into this more introspective anxiety and seeing other people dissolve around him. And then ultimately a younger version of himself is introduced into the fold. We also constructed a super shallow pool in the studio where we had this massive 20 by 12 diff that was a beautiful backlight onto them in a silhouette. He has this almost fight with his younger version of himself, a super quick, super kinetic, super anxiety-inducing sequence, which becomes too much, and a sinking feeling through this underwater sequence is personified. And for that we used this beautiful underwater diving location, which was at a local pool, where we had some viewing windows and we could shoot through that, and we were strobing the lights there.
Lining the pool with black, that was not easy. I had to dive down and I had to lay all the heavy sandbags at the bottom and make sure that the black was spread out evenly, so what we're looking back onto through the porthole of the pool really did turn into a void.
That was a real moment for me where it became so clear that the images that I'd had in my mind for so long were finally being seen on screen, which was a pretty cool moment. And Parker, the young boy, was awesome. He was so good and so ready for anything, even though we put him through his paces.
Same thing? Different angle.
Then we had these really awesome shots with the Phantom Flex, a super slow-mo camera, where we used soda water and tracking the soda water onto Levi's face.
So lighting for a Phantom was actually my first time. Because being slow-mo, we needed a lot of firepower from the light, which is why we picked the 2400 and the 1200 dynos.
Which was great when we got a take that was usable, but then straight after that one usable take, the entire tank burst, which left a lot of water everywhere and everyone scrambling to cover all the equipment. But yeah, seemed like the luck of the draw. We got a perfect take that we wanted just before that all happened. And the next day was sand. So we had 2.5 cubic meters of black sand in a studio, which involved a lot of wheelbarrows and a lot of shoveling by a lot of different people.
Shoveling action, ready, go.
I even roped my flatmate into it, getting the sand close to the studio, but unfortunately it was torrential rain, so we were there for a decent few hours doing that. Then another day we had was out on a beach where we had a beautiful Steadicam sequence for the final shot. And for that beach sequence, we actually ended up using a take where we had a Kalari infrared filter over top of the lens. I still wanted to have that feeling of this otherworldly quality where things didn't seem quite normal, which was great with this infrared filter because it even made the birds that happened to fly by at the time have this weird white glow effect to them, which was really cool. I found it's often really hard to describe in words the feelings that someone goes through when they're struggling with a lot of different types of mental health issues. So this film is something that I hope can be used eventually as a tool to help explain without words the feelings that someone goes through when they're trying to cope.